2, 1 podcast.
Time to podcast. Oh my gosh.
Welcome to the show, Becca. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And you're in New York, right?
I am in New York.
Hell yeah.
New York
thank you for hanging
City.
out with us.
I'm spreading the news.
I don't know what everyone's reference is when you hear that, but mine is from Rent. Goes, New York City, center of the universe.
Times are shitty, but I'm pretty sure they can't get worse.
Yeah, unfortunately.
What a prediction.
Were you a rent girly, Becca?
I was not a rent girly. I actually feel like I've never seen the Broadway, but I feel like I've seen the movie like over time, bits and pieces. And I am like a Broadway girly. I enjoy Broadway, but it's just one that it's like missed me for some reason.
Yeah, I'm the same way because I like musicals, but there's some that I'm like, I have no reference point for this.
Like instead I'm like watching Legally Blonde, the musical. Like that was like very poignant for me.
Dude, the opening number to Legally Blonde the musical slaps.
It's so good. I love it more than I love the movie. Like I was very iffy on the movie for a long time, and then I watched the musical, and then I like fell in love with the movie because I actually love the musical more than I love the movie.
Backwards.
Yeah, I love that.
I think they usually have a well, especially in Broadway, but they have a real bruiser, a chihuahua.
Oh, the best
Which,
song.
Always great.
Yeah. Brabs, I think you and I saw like didn't we see like a Peter Pan musical that had a live dog in it?
Yes.
And it was like this dog, I just remember thinking like there's no way this dog knows that it's in a play right now. Like there's no way.
Yeah.
I wonder how that dog is feeling about those lights because they're crazy.
Right?
The lights on the stage are like...
Exactly.
I know.
We want to go meet audience members and stuff. Like getting a dog to act. I mean, what a crazy thing to do.
Could not be mine,
Yeah.
let me tell you.
No. I bought.
What kind of dog do you have, Becca?
I have 2 wiener dogs.
Oh.
2.
They are divas without the stage. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Not interested.
I dressed one of them as Brat, like the Brat box. Like I made her the Brat box.
Oh my God.
She, like 2 Halloweens ago. I had her, I like painted a giant lime green box, just put Brat on it. She had these like sunglasses on and she just barked at everyone. Everyone was like, yeah, girl, you tell us. And I was like, this couldn't be a more authentic costume to who she is as a person.
Yes. Absolutely. Oh, it's amazing.
Well, all the world is a stage for them because they're so close to the ground.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Little baby.
What do both of your dogs let you dress them up or just the Brat?
The Brat one is better about it. I feel like because I have a wire hair full size and the Brat one is a mini long hair. And I think because we got her as a puppy, I didn't train her well.
She's like a doll.
But she is better about that. Like she'll let me put her clothes on. She's mad about the little like boots for the winter, but like she'll do it. And Jack, he is good with like a real sweater. But if you try to put anything on his head, like a little hat or something, he doesn't like that.
Yeah.
No.
He's bucking it.
I feel like the head is tough for most animals. That's where
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's got a very cute bucket hat, and it looks amazing on him.
That's
But
the problem. It's so cute. Oh my God.
great.
Anything on a wiener dog. Yeah. Oh my
No,
God.
I've given up on the cat costumes. Every year at Christmas. Why are we both saying Christmas? Every year Halloween.
Because Halloween.
It feels like a Christmas. It feels like Christmas when they're wearing costumes.
Halloween is millennial Christmas also. Let's just say it. We basically were like, this is the holiday. This is the big one for us, baby.
But yeah,
it is my
I'm
Super
like,
Bowl.
should I get them a costume? And I'm like, what am I doing? I do have a Santa cape for them that I wear myself.
Well, are you guys all in LA?
Yes.
Because in New York, there is a lot of like dog Halloween costume contests, so it does make it worth it.
I follow them
to,
obsessively.
like,
I love them.
to do it. Because I'm like, well, there's one at Madison Square Garden, there's one at Prospect Park, there's one at Central Park. There's weird dog specific ones.
Yeah. I feel like New York is really crushing it on the like public gathering of the costumes. Obviously, the lookalike contests have really been going off there.
That's always
we're not
great.
really doing that here.
Yeah.
Just the cigarette, the guy who was like, come smoke a cigarette with me.
What was that?
Somebody just posted like hey, come smoke a cigarette with me in the park. And like all these people just showed up and smoked
what we're learning is
together.
people crave community.
Yeah.
We need community.
And cigarettes.
We're like, we discovered this idea of like people, but like you're like in the same place. Like you're like standing.
Crazy. We discovered gathering.
Yeah. It's pretty wild how that's brand new.
Wow.
And we have never done it before. But here we do. I will say we do have wiener dog races in Los Angeles at the track out here, which I do love that.
Really?
Like once a year they do wiener dog races, and they're amazing because half the dogs don't finish because you have two, at least like one. You have two people, one on either side, and then you try to like go down, run that way. But wiener dogs will not be told what to do. They have they have their own boundaries and their own lives, and half of them don't.
So
finish.
does it just become chaos and they just kind of like split off?
Yeah, except for like one or two that have their eyes on the prize, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. I love it.
They've been training.
Love
that sounds phenomenal. So Becca, speaking of community, tell us about your podcast that just launched, El Barrio.
Yes, Welcome to El Barrio is a podcast about all things Puerto Rico. I made it as a show that I really needed growing up. I didn't grow up in a place with any Puerto Rican community. I'm from Texas originally. My dad was from LA. My mom is from the island, and they somehow got married, got to Texas. I was born in LA, but I grew up in Texas. And yeah, there was just no community. I didn't really like find a foothold in my culture till I happened to move to New York when I was, what am I now, 30? So 27? I mean, not 27, wow, 23.
Yeah.
Dyslexia. I was like 22, 23 when I moved to New York. And then living in New York and like being in a place with other Puerto Ricans, I was like, wow, like this is important. It's important to like be around your culture. But I wanted to create something that for people who don't have the privilege of like moving to New York or living in a place where there is a big Puerto Rican population like Chicago, Florida, New York, and, the island itself, I wanted to have a virtual community for people to get to know their culture without any like shame or stakes. Because I think in a lot of Latin American communities, specifically speaking from the Puerto Rican experience, I think there could be a lot of judgment of like, you're not Puerto Rican enough if you aren't like this, if you're not like that, if you don't listen to this, if you don't speak Spanish. And I just wanted to create a no judgment zone for people to like learn about their culture, to feel a part of their culture, and to just like talk to really amazing Puerto Ricans that are like doing the work to push the culture forward. So it's been really awesome. I've already like recorded, I think 7 or 8 episodes. And I'm very excited for them to come out. So stay tuned.
Congratulations. That's so,
Thank you.
So have you been talking to a lot of people that live sort of around you in New York, or how have you been approaching like who you interview and what you talk to them about?
What's been really important to me is because I want this to be a diasporic experience, because like the whole thing with the diaspora is that like we all are coming from different backgrounds and different places. So I didn't want it to be a New Yorican podcast. I think it's very easy to like end up just interviewing New Yoricans. And so these first few episodes, I like went out of my way to fly to Puerto Rico and record them on the island to showcase this like bridge of the diaspora. Like I am, yes, a stateside Puerto Rican, but I want to bridge the island community and the stateside community. So I did my first 3 interviews in Puerto Rico. The first one is with Torel Melendez Barrio and his wife, Aurora Santiago Ortiz. They are professors, authors, historians. Torel famously did all the visualizers for Bad Bunny's album. So when you go to YouTube and you see those historical visualizers, he wrote all of those. Wow. And then the second 2, one is Ali Marie Fugera, and they are a culture writer, just like really amazing artists in Puerto Rico who taught me about like the socialist college that was in Puerto Rico that I had no idea existed. It's like one of the only public universities, and like I think it has a K through 12 adjacent program that teaches about liberation of Puerto Rico, like no one else does. Yeah. And that is a part of the show of like bringing education to our community that doesn't have any. And then the third person I interview on the island is Mikey Cordero. He is a multifaceted artist who is from Bushwick originally, but he's been doing this program called To Ask Puerto Rico, where he's interviewing people who have made the pilgrimage from the States to plant roots back on the island and like rejoin the island roots and community, and kind of how tough those journeys are, because it is hard to live on the island. A lot of people don't realize the struggle the island is experiencing between import-export taxes, having no right to vote. There's just not the same economy there. It's hard to get jobs. So it's been really cool to connect with all these people and like learn all these different aspects of culture that I just had never had access to.
This is maybe like I just don't know the answer to this question, but like, has there been any move towards having Puerto Ricans vote? I mean, like, what will that process look like, and what is that movement like over there? If you could just kind of explain it.
This is a great question, and it is a very complicated question, because the thing is, Puerto Rico is considered an unincorporated territory of the United States, which means that way back when, and I do not have all the dates in front of me, but way back when, I think it's 1898, when Puerto Rico was taken by the United States via the Spanish-American War. It was kind of like the consolation prize of the Spanish losing the war was giving Puerto Rico to the United States. And in that, they started discussing its like legal status within the United States, because this was a time in American history where it was like, okay, so it's not cool to have colonies anymore. So like, what if we call them territories?
Right.
Yeah. And so
rebrand.
They're like, let's rebrand it, because it's like unethical to have colonies, but like territories. And so it kind of created this like legal loophole for Puerto Rico, for the United States, like in service of the United States, where they created this thing as an unincorporated territory, which meant that they believed Puerto Rican people were too savage to govern themselves and to be incorporated into American society. They didn't deem us able to assimilate. They equated us as similar, because this was around the same time that we were fighting for liberation of the slave population in the United States. The same people who were voting on like Plessy versus Ferguson and all that stuff are the same people who decided Puerto Rico's legal status. So they were like, you guys are black and brown slave adjacent people, so therefore you don't get rights in our head. So they created this unincorporated territory status, which meant that we are a part of, or belonging to, but not a part of the United States. So that left us in legal limbo in terms of voting and all of these different aspects, where we're like independent because they didn't deem us able to be incorporated in certain ways. So we have our own language, our own culture, there's our own economy and all that stuff. But we can't vote. Like, we can vote at like the local level, but you cannot vote in like state elections, in government, like federal elections. You do not have any rights. You have representation, I think, in the like Senate and Congress, but you do not have voting right. So like the Puerto Rican people in Puerto Rico cannot vote for the presidential election. Right. They can vote in the primaries, but they can't vote in the presidential election. And please correct me if I'm wrong about the primaries, but listeners, but I'm pretty sure you can vote in the primaries. You can't vote in the general election.
Interesting.
So it's like all this messed up stuff where it's like these people are kind of in prison of their legal status within the United States because they're American citizens, but they do not have the same rights as regular American citizens, which is why there was such an influx in the 50s to the United States because of the industrial boom and, you know, the bootstraps program. And they were trying to get more, like, reduce the population that had boomed in Puerto Rico and put them in the United States to be like the working class labor force. As the middle class was growing, they needed working class. So they kind of imported a working class into the United States. So it's just a lot. There's a lot of history here. I am in the process of learning about that history, and through the show, bringing that history to the front for people to learn. You know, I am not an expert, but I am trying to be and trying to learn. And we have an expert. That first episode with Chorel, he wrote a whole book, Puerto Rico National History. It's like one of the best current day history books, I would say, about Puerto Rico, and honest history about Puerto Rico's legal status, what happened to Puerto Rico since the archipelago, you know, in its founding to today. But yeah, it is a very complicated question. And basically, long story short, Puerto Ricans can't vote. And the only reason they got American citizenship was so that they could be bodies for World War I.
And like,
yeah,
just this country, just great record all the way through. So
point.
awesome. Great job. Yeah. Like, is that something that's like discussed in Puerto Rico? Like, is there a movement of people that are like, fuck the United States, let's get out of here?
There's
like,
very much, it is a like ground swelling movement happening. I would say it's like definitely the younger generation pushing forward and toward this. There's been a really great activism movement happening on the island for liberation of Puerto Rico. That is like what the movement, I would say, is considered like liberation of Puerto Rico. Anti-statehood. I think a lot of older people in this like kind of American dream-esque way believe like statehood is the answer to like freedom. But I think a lot of younger people have seen the writing on the wall and they know that the path to statehood will not equate to Puerto Rican like success, because the reality is we're never going to be a state. Like that is, you know, in my own opinion. But the reality is it does not behoove the United States to make Puerto Rico a state. So there's no point in fighting for statehood so that we have voting. Because I think a lot of the older people are like, well, if we get statehood, we get voting rights and like we get all the rights that the other states do. But Puerto Rico is like a tax haven and debt haven for the United States. So it will never benefit the United States to make it a state, because then they have to absorb that debt that they've exported to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is like one of the poorest countries in the world based on its debt that it's accumulated on behalf of the United States. So it's like this sunk cost for Puerto Rico is this like little debt haven, and it's also this tax haven where all these rich people can come in and get all these like tax benefits. We have to abolish Act 22, all sorts of things. So a lot of young people are like, they see that. They're like, there is no way out through statehood. We're not going to get out of debt through statehood. We're not going to get better funding through statehood. We're not going to get our roads fixed and jobs and the economy boost through statehood. If anything, we're just going to get our culture stripped. We're going to become like Hawaii, which is why Bad Bunny had that song on his album, because Hawaii is actually the only territory that the United States has acquired that became an incorporated territory and then a state. So, you know, Guam is still an unincorporated territory. British Virgin Islands is still an unincorporated, the U.S. Virgin Islands is still an unincorporated territory. I'm not sure the other territories that the U.S. may or may not have. But yeah, Hawaii was the only one that became incorporated and then became a state. But with that became a huge cost. And I think the Hawaiians have made that very clear to us, especially through COVID and everything that's happened over there. So yeah, it's like, I think the young people in Puerto Rico are like, that's our future. And it doesn't look good. So we can't be Hawaii. The only path forward is through liberation. And I think the other argument a lot of people have when it comes to liberation are like, but we're so in debt. It's going to be so poor. Like, what are we going to do? And it's like, well, we have to figure it out. There's no other option. It's like we either stay in our current status, which is clearly not working, become a state and lose a lot, lose our culture, or become free and figure it out and like have belief in ourselves that we can figure it out. So I have this podcast is a part of that liberation movement. I believe, you know, I was asked if this podcast is political, like, is it a politics podcast? And no, not technically, but I think our existence is inherently political. So of course, it's like a show that is political because being for liberation of Puerto Rico is inherently political.
Yeah, demanding to have your humanity recognized is a political statement. You know, I mean, it's like that just is.
It's going to be infotainment. Don't get me wrong. I'm a person who works in comedy. I don't know how to have a fully serious show, but you know, I want to bring these stories to the forefront. I want to bring this news to the forefront. I want to make sure that the show isn't isolating non-Puerto Ricans, because I think it's for anybody who's a U.S. citizen, because you have voting power over what's going on in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Right. So you need to be educated on what's going on. So it's by Puerto Ricans for Puerto Ricans, but I want it to be for anybody who cares. If you have humanity, you care about art, you care about culture, you care about news, you care about politics, tune in.
Hell yeah.
I love that. It's so interesting that like the American dream, that anybody is still like, but that, and it's like, we're so
It's like,
beyond.
look, this, I mean, you guys, look, this.
This is not, it's not happening, y'all.
No, it's rough.
Yeah.
And it's like, so because now that I've been working on this podcast as long as I have, like building it, obviously I know it just launched, but it's been in the works for a while. And I took 4 or 5 trips this past year to Puerto Rico, which is the most I've ever done. Like I never thought I would get to a point in my life where I get to like freely go to Puerto Rico as often as I did this past year. But every time I went, you could really see how hard it is to live in Puerto Rico. And as much as like I dream to have a bi-coastal life in a way where I'm like, you know, between New York and Puerto Rico, it's hard. It's hard to see if I can commit to that because there is not work in Puerto Rico. I'm very blessed to have a job that allows me a lot of flexibility to be virtual and do virtual work. But that is like one of the only ways to like live a sustainable life in Puerto Rico is to be having a job that sustains you, that is on the state side, which is like not fair and sustainable for the working class people in Puerto Rico.
No, absolutely. And also it's like when you have like I was there over Christmas. I've been there a few times actually, and like it's beautiful and I love it, but like it is so tied to the tourist economy too. And then you have these massive companies coming in that you're like, oh, well, all of the money is going to Carnival, and then the chains that have been able to build around their port. And how many people are being mindful about like, go find a Puerto Rican run business and actually go experience the actual culture versus
leave Viejo San Juan. And like go into actually Puerto Rico and experience the island for what it offers, but also like be respectful, because I feel like there are sometimes I'm places where I like hear white tourists be so rude to the working staff, and I'm like,
Jesus,
because I think a lot of people in the United States view Puerto Rico like they view like Cozumel, Mexico, Cancun, like resort town, like they think the whole island's like a resort. And so
but you also shouldn't be an asshole to the people at resorts.
Exactly. And baseline, don't be an asshole anywhere you go. Anyone serving you. But I think in particular they view Puerto Rico like this playland, like a Carnival cruise. They don't view it like an actual place with people with lives that are like living and working and like love this island deeply. That's like why they chose to stay, you know? And not a lot of, it's like a privilege to leave, but also sometimes unnecessary to leave because they couldn't sustain life in Puerto Rico. A lot of our families left because they literally could not continue. That's why my family had immigrated or migrated, I should say, to the United States. My grandfather worked for Pan Am, and during the whole industrial revolution and then like collapse, right? Like, you know, what Michigan experienced, Detroit, when the factories kind of shut down. Same thing happened to Puerto Rico. They industrialized Puerto Rico very rapidly. And then when the Industrial Revolution collapsed, everyone lost. They had wiped away the, you know, sustaining economy that was there before the Industrial Revolution and left it with nothing. And my grandfather worked for Pan Am. When Pan Am closed, he didn't have a job. And like my family was like homeless at one point, you know, and this was obviously way before I existed. But like my mom was like, yeah, it was like so hard living in Puerto Rico when your grandfather lost his job and we literally had to immigrate to the United States or migrate to the United States because there was no work. They like could not sustain their life anymore. And this was a man who lived his whole life. He hated coming to the United States. He had lived his whole life in Puerto Rico. He made my grandmother move to Puerto Rico. They had met in New York, but he was like from the island. My abuela was a New Yorican. And he was like, I'm not living in New York. I'm living in Puerto Rico. I'm raising my children in Puerto Rico. Come with me to Puerto Rico. So they got married in New York and they moved to Puerto Rico. But yeah, like Puerto Ricans did not want to leave, you know? So it's just so sad. It's hard. It's hard to go and like you're seeing like the way these rich tech bros buy up the land and they're trying to privatize the beaches and the energy companies privatize. So like when a power outage happens and a hurricane happens, there's like no federal funding to support the people there and actually get them the power that they need. And people are just out without power for days, weeks. If you're not living in San Juan proper, which is like the only metropolitan, like true metropolitan area, you could be without power for weeks, you know? It's just awful. And even like the internet, I have a fully Puerto Rican team for my show that was like very intentional. I wanted to like have as many Puerto Ricans as possible working on this project. And so my producer is based out of Puerto Rico because I wanted to make sure we were like in this bridging way. Like I am the stateside perspective, but she is the island perspective. And like we have calls all the time where her internet's just going out because they don't have stable internet. Like it's
God.
Like, it's bad. It's bad over there. So,
well, and it's particularly infuriating because, like you said, there are so many people who are working stateside and paying taxes probably into the federal government. And,
Exactly.
And like, again, like we have usurped this island and like nobody asked us to do that. And then like to not provide the resources and the infrastructure then to follow through with that is, it's kind of mind boggling. I mean, not considering how bad everything is, I guess, but it's still,
it's crazy because it's like for Puerto Rico to be in such popular culture and for so like little to be understood about like our political position within the United States and our legal position within the United States is crazy. It's like it took my full adulthood life to like learn a lot of these things about Puerto Rico. And through me going out of my way to do that, like I could choose to be so ignorant to this day, but like I'm like, no, I care about my culture and I care about my community and I'm like having to actively seek that out, you know? It's insane.
Well, and I think it's also like it's also just like it is such a canary in the coal mine to everybody else too, to see like this is what endgame extractive capitalistic culture will do to everybody. This is what it looks like in its most at more of an end game than where we're at in a lot of ways. And you have to like see that and like understand that that is like the logical extension of where all of it goes, you know, the way it's set up right now.
Well, then of course people want to be ignorant because again, they want to have the fantasy of like, you know, all the patriotism and all the shit that, they want to actually believe in.
Yeah.
I was watching your video about talking about Bad Bunny winning Best Album of the Year and just,
and how I ended up accidentally editing it like a chipmunk. I don't know what happened to that.
That was on purpose? I thought that was on purpose.
It was not on purpose. And I was like, why is it like this? But like,
because you called it like Tiny Microphone or whatever it was. And I was like,
I did.
It's sped
I've been
up.
trying to do this new series, Tiny Mike Talks. And it was supposed to be a little sped up, but then it like sped up to this way that it was a chipmunk. And then I tried to re-upload it. And it was like, and I was like, it's comedy.
Sometimes you just got to hit send and call it a day. It is what it is.
Because I fully just thought like, it's sped up. Because like there's so much shit is randomly sped up now. I was like, I didn't even like, it did not even.
Slay. I'm glad.
But that just talk about how you felt. That was so exciting. That was so beautiful. And like watching him like take that moment when he won was just, that was awesome.
It was so emotional to see him like emote in that way and just like take the moment to like really recognize like the history he made is insane. Because it's like Puerto Rico's been in popular culture forever, you know, like there is a lot of, which is kind of a part of this podcast too, is like you cannot have a lot of US culture without Puerto Rico, you know, like New York culture is so embedded within Puerto Rican culture. Like they are together. You can't separate the two. There are so many moments that Puerto Rico has brought to New York City and beyond. So for him to like have one album of the year in a Spanish language album, and for the Grammys, you know, historically the entertainment arts committees do not love us people of color, you know? Like I am Beyonce's stand down, and she deserved that Album of the Year award 3 times over before getting it for Cowboy Carter. So I was shocked when he won because I was like, there's no way, you know? It took Beyonce 20 years to win Album of the Year. They're not going to give it to Bad Bunny. But I think that's how undeniable the impact he made in 2025. And I think that's why the island like rides for him so hard. Like they're genuinely so proud of him because he does care. Like he is outside. Like people know him. Like in Puerto Rico, like I'm like 1 degree away from him. I've been like at all times lately on the island. Yeah. And now that I've been working on this podcast, I have met so many people that are like, oh my God, yeah. Like I worked on a production company that like did his little short film. You know, my designer for the show art, she did all of the residency art for the Bad Bunny residency. So like all the branding for what you see for the show, like she did that. So it's like he really is about like hiring Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico, doing real Puerto Rican work. And that is why people ride for him so hard in comparison to like a J-Lo, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, get shade of it all. No, I mean, and like, just he's one of those artists that's just so economically significant. I mean, he's just like a financial earthquake anywhere that he drops. So I think it's so great that he's actually like walking the walk of like putting that financial influence like back into the community.
Yeah, and putting other people up. You know, it's like so many artists can like not give credit to all the people that he works with, but he really does. He like, you know, lets them all have their own. Like, I think for the residency, he did like an artist collective where he like commissioned a bunch of artists to do different t-shirt designs, and they were all sick. You know, I feel like at the residency, one of the coolest things was that if you didn't get tickets for the show, it was still a party. You could still enjoy the residency being outside, because the El Choli where it was at, there was like a bunch of booths outside with like frituras and like drinks and like music, a salsa band. Like there was stuff happening outside the concert hall that you could just like roll up, enjoy it, have fun, even if you couldn't get a ticket. And the tickets were affordable. They stayed affordable. The food in the venue was affordable. Like,
oh my God.
I like bought...
Proof it can be done.
Yeah. You can use that power to do this. Yes.
Yeah, you can still make money and like not burn a hole in everybody's pocket. Like I went to Madison Square Garden to see Sabrina Carpenter. This is not a read on Sabrina Carpenter, a read on Madison Square Garden, the venue. 2 vodka sodas, $52.
Insane.
I bought everyone in my family beers at the Bab show, and it was like maybe $20.
Really?
Yeah, it was like $4 a beer.
Well, like,
oh my God.
What a beer's supposed to be.
Yeah. So you can make that stuff a
Sidebar,
priority.
I will say, I went to the circus with my family over Christmas where like, that was the most expensive concessions I've ever had was at the circus. Have you guys gotten food at the circus?
It's been a while since I've been in the circus, but I believe you.
Yeah,
I just want to, there were no elephants. I do want to make that clear. But the lemonade that I got was $12 at the mom and pop circus.
It's like, there's not even alcohol in that.
No, concessions.
I know. That's the other thing. My sister-in-law and I were like, there's going to be booze at the circus, right? There were no booze at the circus.
Wow.
Maybe they were like, you're too close to the animals. We have to protect them. They're like, no chances. No chances.
And I love too, like, I mean, I'm so fucking excited for this halftime show, but that trailer he made, so sexy. Awesome. I love how, like, so queer it was and, like, how inclusive and, like, people are gonna die. Like, I'm just so excited to see someone so brave and so willing to just be themselves at a moment when, like, on a stage where that needs to be said and that needs to be done.
Yes,
I just can't wait.
It's so crazy that he's doing the Super Bowl, so important, because it's like a staple in, like, I would say music culture, right? Like to say you've made it in like Americana music history is to perform the Super Bowl. You know, only the greatest get to have that stage. It's like, yes, you win your Grammy, but like it's almost like a lifetime achievement award to like perform at the Super Bowl. So for him to be this young in his career to do it was like incredible, but also it was like so insane the backlash he got, and a showcase of how ignorant a lot of people are to Puerto Rico's legal status within the United States.
Oh my God.
That people are like,
oh, it's crazy.
They're not letting this on American. It's like he literally has a U.S. passport.
Yeah.
Like Puerto Ricans are American citizens. Like that. And not by our choice. If it were our choice, we wouldn't be. But like that's the reality is that we are American citizens. And it just shows how little people understand about what is going on over there.
Well, I think it sadly also speaks to the like really just nightmarish racism that is running unchecked. Right. I mean, like that's the issue of just the bald racism that is just.
That's why I'm like, fuck yes. The biggest middle finger of all time. Fuck all of you pieces of shit. Yeah, sure. Tune in and watch Kid Rock. The alternate show thing.
Pathetic.
I mean, we know we're living in like a non-real, whatever. But the most pathetic person you could ever. I don't know if you guys watched that video of him performing.
Kid Rock.
Also,
if you guys watched that video of him performing with JD Vance, like attempting to dance,
yeah,
it was
pathetic. Also, what a condemnation of how weak your own culture is that you are feel oppressed by somebody else, like saying that theirs is also important.
right. Yeah, you're like, I'm making my own.
Yes.
By the halftime, I can't watch a halftime show with brown people.
I can't watch a halftime show because it's not in my language. Which, mind you, the United States does not have a legal language. It's not. There is no like English is our language. We just happen to turn it into English, but it's not legally binding that English is the national language of the United States.
Also, it's like, frankly, I'm like, I feel this way a lot, and I'm working on Spanish and stuff. But you should be embarrassed if you were only fluent in one language. You talk to people. We
are
overseas,
like one of the only countries that doesn't teach like our children from like not toddler age. I'm like, what's what I'm looking for? Preschool. From preschool. Multiple languages.
It's crazy.
But we actually penalize the children that speak multiple languages by putting them in ESL classes in hopes to dumb them down so that they aren't on a pipeline for success. As someone who went through that system, I was never taught Spanish, but by virtue of pure racism, I was put in ESL classes as a child because they were like,
oh my God,
you're brown, your last name's Ramos. We're going to put you in an ESL
Are you serious?
And my mom had to be like, she doesn't speak Spanish. Get her out of there. And luckily, I had a parent that did speak fluent English that could advocate for me. And that was very present, that could advocate for me. But like a lot of these kids that do speak multiple languages and are put in ESL do not have parents who have the time to go and fight the school board to be like, why is my kid in this class? I don't understand, because it is purposeful. Like the way they teach you in ESL, it is slower. And it's purposely that way so that when you graduate out of ESL, that you're on a slower track so that you aren't graduating with better statistics, get honor roll, get whatever, get access opportunities that put you at better schools, to put you on a pipeline for college. You know, it's called the school to prison pipeline for a reason.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And all by design. It's
well, and like one of the things that's so horrendous about that is like, obviously, being bilingual is such a huge asset, like on the job market. Like you're dealing with someone who has the potential. Like, why are you not nurturing that and setting this person who has this advantage?
They penalize it to you throughout your whole upbringing, and then when you get to college plus, you know, professional career, they're like, oh my God, you speak 2 languages, amazing. Yeah, you are hired immediately, and you're like, huh? I was penalized this my whole life.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But like it's so complicated because like my mom is bilingual. She like made her career by being a Spanish teacher. I am always so proud of my mom. She went to school when I was like in elementary school. Like I went to her college graduation, and it was, I think, the easiest thing for her to become was a teacher, because she was like, I'm a working mom. I, have 2 kids. Like the easiest path for career for me as an adult going to college is becoming a teacher. So she became a Spanish teacher. But by doing that, she just saw the system fail so many bilingual kids, and just like kids that are coming from like immigrant backgrounds, and the fact that she taught native speakers, and a lot of these native speakers kids were like set up to fail. And my mom was like one of the only teachers to teach them that like they had a future, you know, like all of these other teachers and all these systems have taught them like they don't matter. You know, by virtue of being a brown student, by virtue of being someone who isn't from here, they don't matter. And like my mom was like one of the first teachers that they would experience that they were like, oh, college is an option for me, which is like crazy, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Shout out to mom.
All right. Well,
shout out to
mom.
mom.
Shout out to moms. Shout out to women. Shout out to, and also one more thing I want to say about Bad Bunny. You know that it's going to be good because I'm so usually against men doing the halftime show. Like the fact that I'm excited means it's going to be lit.
Well, and like I went to the residency, which was obviously I just explained everything that happened at the residency, but I went to the residency with my mom and my boyfriend and my friend, and it was the best show. It was truly like, I didn't know if I was going to be able to go. My friend sold me her tickets because when I was buying tickets, it was like at the same time Beyonce was selling tickets. And I was like, I don't have the coins to do both. I'm going to be Beyonce and pray that I figure out how to get to Bad Bunny. And I did. But watching the show, I was in the nosebleeds. Like truly, like I didn't even have good seats. And it was hands down one of the best shows I've ever been in my life. He puts on a fucking show. It was so fun. The energy's insane. Yeah, the energy's insane. Everyone's having a party. It truly was just like a blast. So I know this performance, even though it's going to be 13 minutes, it's going to be the best 13 minutes of my month.
It's going to be so fire, man. And it's also like his music is so fun and so dancey and just like so infectious. And like, who cares even if you don't speak Spanish? Like you can enjoy it. Yeah. Like you think like, what does rah, 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 rah mean? You still like Lady Gaga.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, and it's also just like a showcase of like where we're at culturally in terms of like explicit racism and like a war against the immigrant community, because like Shakira has done the Super Bowl and there wasn't this backlash, and Shakira's done it multiple times. There hasn't been this backlash. Shakira's not from, and we rock with Shakira, go Colombia. But I'm just saying she is not an American citizen. She is from Colombia, and there was not this backlash, but it's because he stands for the people, and he is making an out loud statement saying, I do not agree with the politics of what's going on right now. And that is what people are mad at.
Yep. I'm like, honestly, I have to say the NFL, I usually don't think they make good calls. But
I was shocked that they made this decision and they stuck by it.
Yes.
I was waiting for the moment they were like, actually dropping the Super Bowl.
It's a way to get me to what I'm like, I would not be watching it otherwise. My boyfriend was trying to explain to me that, because he's upset his team's not in it, the Bills, and he was just like ranting at me about the Patriots. Like
they suck. They do suck.
I literally just started walking away from him earlier.
You're like, this is not what it's about.
Like, I don't care.
I was like, I am not okay.
I like literally don't even know who's playing. Like Patriots,
I don't know.
That's the Pats and the Seahawks.
And the Patriots.
Yeah,
I just know that they're in San Francisco. Don't know what venue, and that Bunny's playing.
That's my only context as well. And I will be watching the halftime show.
I'll be sad.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna tune in for 13 minutes and then go do something else.
I mean, obviously, I married Mr. Football, and Super Bowl is like our Christmas. But
yeah.
Well, I'm from Texas,
especially Christmas when you get the. Yeah.
No.
Are you a Dallas? No, are you a Dallas fan, Becca?
I'm from Houston. So I'm a Texans girl, but I've never loved football. Like in theory, it's like everything about me should love football. I grew up in Texas. I went to Baylor. Like I was like a little country bumpkin for a while, but I just can't get into it. I think it's really hard growing up in Texas when it comes to football, because you do see so many kids who like their whole life, they are like, I'm going to become an NFL player. And just like knowing the CTE and like all these ramifications, it's just like hard for me to like sit and watch and like know that they're going to like, something bad's going to happen.
I hate when anybody gets hurt. I really do.
I'm like,
Yeah, I know. And then I don't know how much you guys watch football, but they have a thing called the concussion tent. Do you guys know about this?
No.
Okay, you guys. At a football game, they bring this like pop-up that's like a raver tent at Coachella. And you don't know what happens in there, but if a boy gets hit real hard, they put him in there, and it's like a mystery what's happening in there. And then some doctors come in this like raver tent, and they decide if he can keep playing or not. So you're like like you don't know what's happening in the blow up concussion tent. And then like after a period of some minutes, they like trot this man back out, and like they either like hobble him back on the field, or they pull him from the game.
Oh my God. See?
Yeah.
And this is...
I want to get in that tent.
I know. One time there was a really windy game, and it blew over, and I was like, oh, we're getting to see inside the concussion tent.
You're like, no, we know.
I'm just imagining like a sound bath. Maybe that's my concussion tent.
Yeah, you just get a pedicure and watch Barbie movie.
Yeah.
I just stay in the tent. That sounds nice. I would just be in the tent at the game.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
We watch something else.
Yeah. I would definitely have if I was there, that would mean I had a concussion.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
No, literally.
All right. Should we do a lady problem?
Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
If you have a lady problem, you can email it to us at ladytoladycomedy@gmail.com. You can also give us a phone call at 323-6-BUT-30. And we're in need of lady problems. So please, if you have one.
Yeah, we've been solving all
along.
of them. So I think it's time for, I know y'all got more. Y'all got more problems. Get them
It could be a big one, a little one. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is a two-parter, so we'll have two audio tracks. Here we go.
Hi, ladies. I have a lady problem. So I moved into a triplex this April, and the old house that was divided up by the previous owners, and I quickly realized that the walls dividing the house up are extremely thin. About a week in, started realizing that I could hear snoring from my neighbors who must have their bedroom right on the other side of my bedroom wall. So awkward, but I got earplugs, got a white noise machine, just put it on my mind because what are you going to do? They have a 1.5, 2-year-old. He cries a lot, makes a lot of noise. I hear them talking, I hear them coughing, and it's disruptive, but I deal with it because I signed up to live next to a family. And about 6 months ago, I met my now boyfriend, and since then, there have been 3 different times that they have banged on the wall when my boyfriend and I are having sex.
No.
And
what?
Over here in the
No.
but
Talk about my worst nightmare.
Seriously.
They can hear some things too. And, we're pretty new and we have great sex. So I'm not saying I'm silent, but I'm certainly not trying to call attention to us. And I don't know what to do. I'm writing them a letter. The last time was the last straw for me. I wrote them what I think was a very kind letter, but very firm. I didn't apologize because we're all adults and you signed up to be in an apartment next to another adult with very thin walls. So I'm hoping at least with the letter they'll have my phone number. They can call me if there's a problem. But what's frustrating is they've lived here for years and years. Why haven't they ever talked to the landlord about something that they could do to make the noise between the 2 walls not as bad? I kind of think that they think I'm the only noisy one, and they don't realize just how loud it is on my end. I talked to my landlord, and he agreed the fact that I can hear snoring is ridiculous. He had no idea. And we're putting in sound dampening panels in the next couple of weeks. And I shared that with them and told them that they're welcome to do the same. But now it's just going to be fucking awkward. And I'd love to know, I guess, how you think I should go about having to see these people in such a small apartment complex for at least the next year, hopefully longer. And
let me play part 2.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Give me a little bit more. Oh my God. That's so funny.
Hi, ladies. This is the person that called in about the neighbors who are banging at your banging. When she had normal sex with her boyfriend. So I guess what I'm asking is, do you have any ideas for sound dampening? Unfortunately, I can't really move my bed. It's the only wall that it will fit on, so that's out of the question. I do have a carpet. And then the other question is, how do I make things good with them? Maybe I don't. Maybe we just ignore each other. But it's a small complex. And also, am I the asshole? I don't think I am. I've been a very good neighbor to them. I try really hard to keep everything clean, be quiet. But some noises are unavoidable, and I just think that we can all be adults and address them like adults rather than banging on the wall while we're having sex. I'm not really sure what they're trying to get out of that. So I'd love to know what you think. Have a great day.
The stress.
Oh my
stress
God.
in that. Have a great day.
Oh no,
Girl, they're just jealous. That's why they're breaking it up.
No, literally.
Yeah.
I literally was like, you just gotta walk in your truth, babe.
Yeah.
Like you just gotta see them and be like, I am having good sex.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You're certainly
See
not
this
hearing
glow?
them.
Soak it up. I know. Exactly. You would know if they were doing it.
Yeah.
You would know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is clearly, and like also like I think we've all at one point like heard people having sex, right? Like in a hotel or something. You hear it.
Yeah, you live in a city. Yeah.
I've never had the impulse to bang on the wall.
No.
Not once. Not once ever.
No.
If anything, I'm chuckling.
It's such a weird thing to do. I can see maybe in some situation where one time I would do it. I'd never repeat it. It would have to really be like, I have to wake up at 5 a.m. and I can't, or something like that. But
I also,
like, what are we doing?
feel like it would have to be like insane sex.
Yes.
Like it would have to be like,
are you
the
screaming?
walls are shaking, people are screaming.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I can't imagine, like she said, it's loud enough to be that much of a burden, especially because I'm sure subconsciously she's thinking about it because it keeps happening. So I'm sure she's like probably
of course,
softening herself.
Back.
Yeah, like even unconsciously. Yeah. I think, listen, these people ruined you guys' chance of having any semblance of a friendship when they banged on your wall while you were having sex. So like that's out the door.
Yes.
So I agree. It's a smug smile. I don't even think you need to say hi. Yeah. It's maybe a nod.
If anything, you did enough. You were kind enough to write a letter. Mm-hmm. You are getting sound dampening for your thing. You told them to do the same for them, gave them the tools to fix their own problem.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of is if you wanted, but you shouldn't have to, is buying soundproofing in your room, like, you know, sound absorber, if that'll help. But
what if you...
Yeah, I mean, there are, so from a practical standpoint, there are like panels and curtains you can get that I think are probably thin enough that you could probably put one behind your headboard.
She said she's doing that, right? Or
she's getting sound.
I don't know. She said
that is,
but then she asked about how to soundproof also, so I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how I would dampen, I guess, is with the panels.
Yeah.
But there's also curtains you can get. If you guys have a door or a window that are pretty good, if you just Google like soundproof curtains.
This is not helpful, but what if you just, every time you know your boyfriend's coming over, you just leave some foam earplugs on their doorstep? What if that's what you do, just to be like,
you do a sock on the door to warn them?
Exactly.
We're fucking, so up to your own.
Yeah.
That's so hard. It's so hard to have people be up in your space like that, and then you have to like interact with them on the neighbor level. So I sympathize with you. It's just really tough. Like, I mean, I think the thing is, like we said, like you have been really respectful about everything. Yeah. Like you have done nothing wrong. You know, you didn't even complain about the snoring, which like that's really hard. That's
or the
so
baby.
Yeah. And like snoring and babies both last longer than sex.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like y'all are doing it like, I mean, I guess we don't know. But I'm like, what?
20
Can't
minutes
imagine
or something, you know?
It's more than 30 minutes at a time.
Yeah, let's
you
say
know?
we'll give you an hour. You know, let's give you that.
Let's say you guys are really getting weird. Yeah, like, but
yeah.
That's not as long as when someone is snoring, that ruins your whole night.
Yeah.
That's all night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a baby crying just like gets at least for me, the way it makes me feel when I hear it is like I would rather listen to anybody fucking than a baby crying.
Exactly.
Truly.
I'm like,
prefer
I'm
the before to the after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Like hearing a baby cry, because it's like you can't do anything about that. Mm-hmm. And it is just like, I mean, it's babies
piercing
on purpose. It's like a warning. Like it's literally like biologically designed to warn you. So everybody's heightened when a baby's crying, you know?
I was talking to a friend recently who was like at a hotel and could hear the people next to her. And she was like, oh, yeah, I heard them having sex. And she's like, but then I realized I could only hear the guy. And I'm like, oh, that's so much worse.
That is like,
just
is she having fun?
Yeah, she's not. I promise she's not.
No. And I was like, are you sure he wasn't just jerking off? She's like, I heard slapping. And I'm like, okay.
You're like,
Now I have more questions. Was it like grunts and slapping? Was this guy just like loudly?
And, you know.
Wow.
Man.
Do you guys know the reason I don't set up friends anymore is because when I was in my early 20s, I worked with this like actor guy who was like kind of cute. And then I had a single friend. I was like, you guys might like each other. I thought he was cool, whatever. I set them up. They went on a date. And then she goes, we came back to my place. We started hooking up. And then he started barking like a dog.
No.
And she said it was like ruff, ruff, ruff.
No.
Yeah.
And you're like, I should never have known this about this person.
Exactly. And then I was like, for the rest of my life, I'm never setting anyone up with anyone.
No.
Setting up somebody is a lot of pressure. I have a story about it, but for off mic. But yeah, setting somebody up is a lot of pressure that you then feel like onus to for the rest of whatever happens with that. I can't do it anymore. I did it once and I was like, never.
No, we're all giving up on that. Sorry, everybody.
And you don't really get anything out of it.
You get nothing out of it.
Yes.
Besides bragging rights.
Yeah. I have heard of those shows. I kind of like these like singles events where you go and you pitch your friend, basically. Like people, they have a slideshow and they say, I kind of like that idea because it's so much easier than pitching yourself.
Well, my friend is doing that here in New York. Really? She has a dating game show that she made called Group Chat Approved. Shout out to my ladies. They hosted 2 of them. Basically, they get submissions of singles. Like you can have your friends submit you as a single. You can submit yourself. And so then basically they'll submit you as a single, and then your friends who have submitted you as a single have to be the group chat. And then basically they audition other singles that are, they did a queer one, they've done, hetero, whatever. And so let's say it's like The Bachelor, but like with your friends voting. So they do a bunch of games.
That's fun.
And throughout the games, like your friend group will vote like, were these good, which bachelor do they like the most? Which one do they like the least? And then by the end, your friends vote who you should go on a date with. And then, and then they go on a date.
That's fun. I guess it's funny because it's not 2 people you know either. So you're
it's like you're bringing your friend, but it is a bunch of random people. But it's really fun. So they like play a series of dating games and then see. It's really cute.
That's really
cute. Has anyone like gotten together from it?
I think there was like one couple that at least like went on a date and enjoyed it. But both of them started this show because they were single and now they both are in relationships. So I don't know if it was correlation, causation, but they like literally did the show because they were like, we are looking and then they found love.
That's cute.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
There's another one called Love Isn't Blind, and it's a dating show where the men aren't allowed to talk. So they come up on stage. They call their mom on the phone. They talk to their friends, but like anyone else can talk but them. And I'm like, that's a great idea.
That's very, very
brilliant.
Oh man. May all of these contestants have thick walls. May they all.
Yes.
There's just nothing that can, it's just so hard when you live like in that situation.
Listen, baby, thin walls, thick heart, can't lose.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, just be nice to the rest of your neighbor. It's like, just be cool with everybody else in the building. Maybe they're the villain, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you've literally done everything you can do.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to like move on and live your life and just like ignore that. I mean, like clearly you don't live in New York because I feel like in New York you would just ignore them. You'd be like, like that's my crazy neighbor. Anyway, my neighbor at one point in my old building, they were smoking so much weed, and I smoke weed. I am a pothead, but like it was like seeping into my walls and like in the apartment because we have roof access in that building. So I'm like, or like open the window and smoke out we had these giant windows. I'm like, why is my bathroom smelling like smoke? It's like coming up. And to the point that it's like my partner and my mom, when they come visit, they're like, what are y'all doing? And I'm like, it's not my fault. Like, but did I do anything? No, because you're in New York. You're just like, whatever. Like, that's life. When you're
like, it's a good, there's good square footage. It is what it is. Yeah. Like,
My parents, I was just visiting back home and my parents live in like a, condo, whatever. And in their backyard, there's just a single seat next to a cigarette disposal thing. And I was like, that's for the smoker? And they're like, yeah. He's got his little shame corner for his cigarette.
Yeah.
Because they're like, you shouldn't be doing that anymore.
Every smoker is very comfortable in a shame chair.
Yeah. But there's but I hear a lot of complaints about that. I'm always reading on Reddit, like apartment living, people who are dealing with this kind of shit. And it's like, people smoke cigarettes and it's seeping into their, and it's like, that's crazy. That's tough.
No, I obviously like these anti-vax people are so fucking stupid, but like I've seen, I think it was Whitney Cummings actually recently on like Joe Rogan was like, here's where the left lost me when it was like, my body, my choice, except vaccines. And it's like, yeah, you dumb bitch. Abortions aren't contagious. Yes. Okay? A better analogy would be, can I light a cigarette and blow the smoke in your face? That isn't like...
Exactly. We need to just remember to live fucking collectively in community. And there will be things that are inconvenient, but the opposite of that is that you're getting people around you and you're not just living alone. Yeah, shit's annoying. Whatever. If that's the worst thing in your life is that like your neighbors are having good sex in the wall that through like next to you, you have a great life. Find gratitude.
It's probably not the worst thing because they're in a sexless marriage, Brandy.
Exactly. I mean, I know. I'm just saying. It's just like this is the least of your problems. Go fix your other problems first.
You have a baby. Focus on that.
Yeah, but you know how people how people come together when they can hate someone else. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Oh well.
Oh my God.
Maybe.
God bless. Good luck.
Yeah.
Godspeed.
And congratulations to you. I'll say that too.
Yeah. Congratulations. Congrats on having good sex. That is
honestly important. That is a true blessing. Yeah. Getting good dick. Good for you.
Yeah, damn straight.
Becca, this has been so much fun.
This was so great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Tell everyone where they can find Welcome to El Barrio and anything else you want to plug.
Welcome to El Barrio is streaming on all platforms, wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow our show page at Welcome to El Barrio on Instagram. You can find me and follow me at Becks, Beccs Ramos on all platforms. And we have a Substack where I am attempting to post bonus content, but I still have a job, so I'm trying to do it all. But yes, in theory, subscribe to our Substack where, I hope to add supplemental stuff for the episodes. Like I'm writing one right now. This first episode I did was narrative versus the rest of them are going to be chat show. So this first episode was narrative. It's like setting the stage of why am I doing the show? My journey with my identity and my race and all these things. And so I kind of wanted to pull a bunch of these really fun images of the stories that I was talking about. Like this cruise that I was on with my Girl Scout troop where my mom couldn't afford to go on the cruise. And so I was given a parental guardian, I was assigned a parental guardian, a legal parental guardian to watch over me. And she was white because all my other cruise Girl Scout moms were white and they were white. And we were in Cozumel and we were getting back on the boat and I got stopped by customs and they were like, you can't come because they thought they were smuggling me on the boat.
What?
Yeah. So it ended up being fine. Obviously, I made it home, but it was crazy. It was one of my first real experiences of racism. True
some Girl Scout cookies for
Jesus so I was gonna put a bunch of pictures of that among other really fun ones. But
yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Definitely sign up for that, you guys. That's insane. Oh my God.
It was crazy. It's I think about that moment. I'm it was so insane that I literally almost got stuck in Mexico because this guard didn't believe I was an American citizen. And I didn't even.
And you're
have,
9?
Yeah, I think I was 14. I had a passport card. My parents couldn't even afford to give me a real passport, so they're like, "Well, it's cheaper to get a passport card, so we'll just get you a passport card." So I was I didn't even have a real passport, which was probably part of the problem. And so I'm this little passport card. I'm 14, and they're like, "This white lady, she cannot be your mom," and I'm like, "Well, she's not.
Yeah,
but she has the paperwork," and they were like.
That's bad.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Wow. Oh my God.
But I made it home.
Yeah, you made it home.
You're home.
You made it.
You're thriving. You're making amazing podcasts. All is well.
Absolutely.
Thanks again, Becca.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.